Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's almost afternoon now, and I'm doing some saw maintenance. I just ground and dressed up about a half a dozen bars that I used. The tips are all still good in them, so I wanted to try and get the most life out of them I can. And I came in here and I pulled my air filter apart, and I started to notice how much particles are getting past the air filter. These cheap little stock air filters that they come with are terrible for that. But I had a guy by the name of Chris who showed me a really cool trick with the lithium grease that you see here on my tailgate. I'm about to show you. That'll really create like a seal and prevent that stuff from getting back there. So what I'm gonna do is I'll seal it up and I'll show you how to do that. I got some grease on my finger here, and what I do is I run it around the outside edge of the stock air filter. I clean it first real good, and then I get a nice cake of grease right on there, and then I squish it on there, tighten it all up, and run it like that. And what you'll see is the filter really gets like plugged solid quick. These stock filters are terrible, but a lot of this stuff that you see behind the filter that's not supposed to be in there, that stuff won't be there if you do this little trick. So I figured I'd pass that along to you guys, and hopefully maybe it'll save you guys some trips to the saw shop when the sawdust gets in there and tears up your rings. So yeah, thanks for watching. Clean all this out. Just wanted to add, you could be real generous with the grease around the outside edge. Like you see here, this is what it's going to look like. It's really bright out, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I put a real generous amount of grease on the outside of the filter. And one of the most important things to remember is it's not at all important what type, brand, or anything grease you can use. You want to use the cheapest crap that you have. The reason why I'm using this stuff here is because it got out in the rain, and the cardboard on the outside got all mushy. So you don't want to throw that in your grease gun because you're going to have nothing but problems. So basically I was going to throw that grease out if I didn't use it for anything else. So what I do is I use just this tube of grease for little things like this. And I'll just cap it off and use it again on the next one. I'm probably going to do this air filter too because it needs it bad. But I'll clean this out and I'll let you see what it looks like after it's clean. And then maybe I'll do a video, an update after running the saw for a day. I'll pull the air filter off and you guys can see how much stuff got behind it by doing this. But that might be in another video. But I'll be right back and we'll see what this looks like after it's cleaned. So what I did is I just took a little can of brake cleaner here. It probably should have been better if I used carburetor cleaner, but I didn't really get into the carburetor at all. It's just outside. I sprayed a little squirt on the outside and then wiped it clean with a towel. As you can see, much cleaner than it was before. So I'll throw this back together. I'll put the air filter back on there. That I ran out of storage. I had to go delete some videos and come back. So what I did was I actually finished up cleaning that out and putting the air filter back on. This is what it'll look like afterwards. You see how it has a nice little gasket seal from the grease around the outside? That's what we're looking for. I'll show you what it looks like without that. So now on a daily basis now, granted this cover's a little cracked, so it's going to get a lot more sawdust in it than a normal one. I could just duct tape that, we'll fix that later. This is what it looks like after running a few tanks through it without that. Now, the grease seal on this one's been gone for a while, and you can see, look at how much stuff gets behind there. That's something that you really want to avoid when running a chainsaw, is getting that in there, because what happens is it gets into your carburetor right here. Another little tip somebody actually mentioned, I always forget to say and do this in all my videos when I'm doing maintenance, is to put your choke on. Because if your choke's completely on, what it does is it seals off your carburetor from getting stuff in there a little bit better than having it wide open. Alright, so now I'm going to go and clean this one up here, and we'll come back and show you that. It's all cleaned up. Grease the air filter. And we'll close this one off and seal it. And that's about it. That's my little tip to try and keep as much sawdust out of the carburetor as possible. And then what I'll do is I'll give you a little update video maybe in my next cutting segment. Have a great day, guys.